Welcome to the SteelersFix Podcast, and before we get rolling, make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube so you never miss an episode. Alright, let's talk about one of the wildest, most off-script Steelers wins we've had in years, because this game was not supposed to go the way it did. When training camp opened, nobody imagined we'd be sitting here in Week 11 talking about a Steelers win powered by Mason Rudolph, Kenneth Gainwell, James Pierre, and Kyle Duggar scoring touchdowns on defense. But here we are, and honestly, this might be the most next man up game Mike Tomlin has ever coached. Let's start with the moment everything flipped. Late in the second quarter, Aaron Rodgers takes a hit on a pass to Kenneth Gainwell and instantly goes to the locker room no tent. No hesitation, straight for x-rays. And when that happens, you could feel the stadium shift. You could feel the silence settle in. Steeler Nation knew this was bad. And then the news starts coming in. Rodgers is questionable, then he's not coming back. And now it's Mason Rudolph, a guy who hasn't taken a single snap since Week 17 of 2023, stepping into a must-win divisional game with the team sitting at 5-4 and their AFC North lead evaporating. Oh, and by the way, Jaylen Warren? He's balling before he sprains his ankle. Guy had 54 yards on 8 carries and was on his way to a monster day. But suddenly he's out too. So your backfield is Gainwell, not your feature back. It's Kenneth Gainwell, who came here as a utility player. And on defense, whole different set of problems. James Pierre wasn't even on the 53 in August. Now he's a starter because Darius Slay is in concussion protocol. Juan Thornhill, waived. Deshaun Elliott, IR. Ramsey, eventually gets ejected. And Duggar, he's literally been here for 2 weeks and is already playing 99% of snaps. That secondary was a patchwork quilt held together by tape, hope, and pure Mike Tomlin stubbornness. And yet, that patchwork group went out there and held Jamar Chase and Tee Higgins, who absolutely torched us for 257 yards a month ago, to 6 total catches for 93 yards and a single touchdown. That's the difference between losing 33-31 and winning 34-12. But let's walk through the game because this was wild. The Steelers start fast, something we've all been begging for. Jaylen Warren rips off that filthy 35-yard cutback run to get inside the 15, and Gainwell finishes it with that flare route to the pylon. Beautiful play design by Arthur Smith. Steelers up 7-0. Bengals answer. Higgins scores. And then the Bengals get penalized on the PAT, so they go for 2. Patrick Queen blows it up. Steelers stay ahead 7-6. Then everything goes quiet. Offense stalls. Defense tightens. Boswell adds a late field goal. Steelers go into halftime up 10-6, but with Rodgers hurt, Warren hurt, and everyone in the stadium nervous. Now here's the moment where the entire season could have collapsed. Instead, Mason Rudolph walks into the huddle like he never left. 3rd and 11, converts to Roman Wilson. 3rd and 17, converts to Darnell Washington, bulldozing Geno Stone. Boswell nails it. Steelers up 13-9. Then comes the play of the game. Nick Herbig and TJ Watt collapse Joe Flacco's pocket. Flacco panics, throws it directly at Kyle Duggar's chest, and Duggar says, "Thank you very much." 73 yards later, he's in the end zone, and Acrisure is absolutely exploding. Steelers up 20-9. And by the way, watch the return. Herbig threw a clean block that absolutely sprung Duggar down the sideline. You could feel the air go out of Cincinnati after that. But the Bengals hang around. They get a field goal. Ramsey gets called for a personal foul after Chase spits on him. Yes, spits. And Ramsey retaliates with a punch. He gets ejected. Chase somehow doesn't. The NFL is looking into it, but the video doesn't lie. And all of this is happening with our secondary already down. Slay, Elliott, Thornhill, and now Ramsey. So what happens next? Mason Rudolph, this guy who gets thrown into fire every single time he replaces somebody, puts together one of the clutchest drives of his career. 3rd and 11, Gainwell for 20. 1st and 23, Gainwell again on the screen, 28 yards. And then the touchdown to Gainwell, capping a drive that slammed the door shut. Steelers up 27-12. Then the final dagger, Brandon Echols punches the ball out, and James Pierre scoops it and runs it 33 yards to the house. The guy wasn't even guaranteed to make the roster this year. Now he's iced a division win. And the defense? 2 touchdowns, 2 takeaways, 0 red zone conversions allowed. Flacco held to under 200 yards for the first time as a Bengal. Tomlin said it best. We got challenged in a lot of ways, but it's good to get a win and get back on the right side of things. This wasn't just a win. This was a message. The Steelers didn't just beat the Bengals. They overcame chaos, injuries, adversity, emotion, and still dropped 34 points on a division opponent averaging 32.8 a game the last month. And now? They're 6-4, still in first place, heading to Chicago to face a 7-3 Bears team in a monster matchup, but they go there with belief. Real belief. Because games like this bond teams. Games like this reveal who you really are. And the Steelers found out that even when everything goes wrong, they've got guys who will fight, respond, and deliver. From Rodgers going down, to Rudolph stepping in, to Warren limping off, to Gainwell turning into Alvin Kamara for a day, to Duggar housing a pick, to Pierre rising from the practice squad to defensive hero, to a broken secondary standing tall. This was the definition of Steelers football. And the most important thing? They proved they can win ugly. They can win short-handed. They can win off script. And that is exactly what separates contenders from pretenders. We'll talk Rodgers' wrist more once we get the official update Tuesday, but early word is it's a small fracture, not long-term, but very questionable for Chicago. If Rudolph starts, he showed today that he's ready. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Steelers Fix Daily. Make sure you subscribe to Steelers Fix on YouTube, hit like, drop a comment, and let us know your thoughts on this crazy win. Appreciate you all for tuning in. Here we go.